Hi, it's me, Makaio, and this is my Get to Know the Album video for my newest released album, What Do You Want to Be When You're Older? That was released on April 24th. I'm making this on April 7th, so it's like really awkward to like talk into past tense and act like if it's current, but we're gonna get through that. Anyway, I wanted to do a deep dive into what the album or EP, I don't really know what it is, what the project means to me and what each song means. And I wanted to explain how each song contributes to the story that I wanted to tell and all that. So this is that. If you haven't listened to the album or EP or whatever this is, go listen to that because I'm gonna spoil everything. So it's good to go listen and then come back and have context. So go do that. Anyway, we're going to get started. I realize I should probably hold my mic a little farther. So from now on, you don't need to worry about me being literally in your ear. So anyway, we are going to go in tracklist order from older all the way down to stars. And I'm just going to explain the songs as we go. So first, we start with older.
Is it part of growing up? Feeling young and feeling lost. It's such a weird feeling, but I don't feel anything at all. When will I fall in love?
And sorry, there's a guy delivering a package. Older is a song that I wrote when I was very sad, to say the least. It's about mental health issues and not really wanting to grow up, but also being confused if certain things are part of it and not feeling lovable. And I don't really know how else to say it, but like not really wanting to be alive. I don't really know how else to put that out there. So that's what the song was about, and it's a very different sound for me. It follows like the same, type of vibe I go for, but I feel like this is a very dark song and it's more upbeat. It's one of my favorites. It's the second song I wrote. And I had the idea of making a song called Older for a long time, and so I finally did it. This is first in the track list because the EP or album is called What Do You Want to Be When You're Older? And so this is kind of like the title track, but we'll get into that more later because honestly 3 different songs can be the title track. I wanted it to feel like, oh, we're already there. Like we're already older, like create a sense of confusion and be like, interesting, and I thought that would grab someone's attention. And I also feel like older just sets the mood for the rest of the project and it really defines what this is going to be about and it sets the mood for the first half of this EP or album. I'm just going to call it an EP. We'll just agree it's an EP. There's not really much to talk about for this first one because you'll see the references in the later songs. So we're going to just go ahead and move on to Father.
I just wish you loved me, love the money it seems. I just wish you believed in me, but you constantly shit on my...
Father definitely stirred up some conversations in my family, and it was interesting. Father is second in the track list because in Older it says, and my dad thinks I need some help. So this is kind of playing off of Older, but instead of focusing on mental health issues and feeling insecure about my body and all this other stuff, it finally transitions the EP into family issues. Having a rocky son-father dynamic, but wishing it was better, and you don't really know why it's not. And that's what the song is about. It's about me and my dad's relationship. It's like sometimes it's good and sometimes, then other times it's just not. So I don't know if I should dive too deep into the song because I know family members watch this, but sometimes I just wish it was better. So moving on to Town.
Did I make you proud? I feel lonely in this crowd.
Now, Town is, I think, it's a song that really set me up. I think, it's my second most streamed song. It has, I think, 95,000. And it's just so crazy how that entire situation blew up. So before I explain, I just want to explain how this song did what it did. I was gearing up to release Town and I was kind of just a small teensy artist. And I still am, but like I was way smaller. I had like maybe 700 Instagram followers. So yeah, I was preparing to release Town, and it had literally 3 pre-saves before it was released. And then I released it, and it maybe got like 300 streams in its first week. And then I started promoting it on TikTok and Instagram in December, January, and February. And it blew up. Like, I don't know what happened, but just so many of the videos were getting thousands of views, and I got so many new followers and so many new streams, and that's pretty much what happened. If you're watching this video, there's like a 98% chance you found me through Town, which is just incredible. Anyway, how does Town fit into the project? Town is one of the biggest parts of this project. It plays a very crucial role. It talks about everything all over again. So in Older, we talk about insecurities and fears and not wanting to grow up, and, you know, mental health issues, and then family issues and family trauma in Father. And Town dissects everything. If you know Town, and if you've watched the Get to Know Town video, you would know that the town I'm referencing is my brain, my mind. It's where all my thoughts live and where all my thoughts and fears live. I use town as a metaphor to wanting to get out of your head and feeling so stuck, not really liking where you are. And it talks about literally every thought I had when I was writing the song. It talks about my brother, my mom, my ex, my dad. You know, it talks about so many different things. And so it really summarizes these first 3 songs and puts everything together into one. And it transitions beautifully into Oceanside, and I'll get to that in a second. But in Father, it says, I can't make you proud, can't I? And in Town, it says, I still think about you. Did I make you proud? It's kind of a callback to Father in that sense, which is why I put Town third. So that's pretty much it for Town. So we will move on to Oceanside, and this one will be a long one, so get a snack or something. Here is Oceanside.
And I know you're still my brother, but I wish that we got closer when we had a chance. Now I will grow up.
So Oceanside is one of my favorite songs I've ever made, and I actually made a whole deep dive video into this song. So just to quickly summarize how this fits in to the project. Well, Oceanside is the name of my hometown, and the song right before it says, I hate this town. So there's a little bit of a conflicting feeling there, and that's exactly what I wanted to portray. That's why Oceanside is 4th on the track list. Oceanside references pretty much every song in this project. So the transition from Town to Oceanside, to me, sounds pretty seamless lyrically, because at the end of Town, it says, am I drowning in this ocean that I created? Oceanside is a very nostalgic song. Like, am I drowning in this nostalgia and this feeling that I'm really just making for myself and making it harder for myself? And then obviously Town ends with I hate this town and everything inside it. Then we transition into Oceanside, where I talk about my hometown. But Oceanside's actually about my brother and just how differently we grew apart. We went through a lot together as kids, a lot of trauma, but also a lot of good moments. And so this song is about missing that connection. He had to go, and the reason why is because he made a mistake. Like in Town, it says, my brother made a mistake, and I won't say it's okay. Just wish I could take his pain. And Oceanside is diving deeper into that, and he just is gone. And when you lose someone that you're just so close with, obviously you're going to have some type of feeling, and it's a confusing one too. Oceanside also refers to older a few times. Oceanside says, and as I get older, I start to miss our mother. And it shows that by the 4th song, we're still going on this very confused journey. We're going on a very confused route, and we still don't know what's going to happen. It's a very uncertain, sonically, from Older to Oceanside, we're still very confused on where we are story-wise. And Oceanside also solidifies Older by saying, and I'm scared of getting old. It shows that we're still in this mindset of being afraid to leave your past behind, even if your past is traumatic. It's something that I struggled with. So these songs are obviously very personal. Another way that Oceanside references Town is Town says, oh, and I cry, do you hear me? I sleep alone at night. I'm lonely. Keep that in mind. I'm scared of getting old. I'm scared I'll die alone. Welcome to my mind. The thought kills me at night. I don't want to live my life. So did you hear that? Did you hear that? This was on purpose. So it says, welcome to my mind. And town is about the thoughts in my mind. You know, remember in town it says, I sleep alone at night. I'm lonely. And I say, I'm scared to die alone. Welcome to my mind. The thought kills me at night. It's more solidifying Town's lyrics by saying, being so alone at night just kills me. Anyway, I'm also wearing my Oceanside necklace, by the way. These are handmade, so you can go get them for $9.99 on my web store. And also, fun fact about Oceanside is there was a whole different song, and I actually teased it on Instagram for a few months. And I don't know, when it came to just recording that version, it didn't feel like I said everything I wanted to say. So I actually scrapped the entire thing and rewrote Oceanside and remade it. So that's this version that you're listening to. Maybe someday I'll release the other version. Okay, so now we move on to Medicine.
I think that I'm too sick, and I need you, like if you were my medicine, like if you're supposed to fade.
Now, Medicine is kind of like a sleeper hit for me. I love Medicine a lot. It was the last song written. It was written in December. It's kind of about, well, not kind of. It is about a breakup from 3 years ago that I had, and well, it's my only relationship, and I know it's pathetic, but I did write a song about it 3 years later. So, but it's about being reliant on love and feeling desperate for that love and like doing anything you can to get that. I didn't realize this when I was making Medicine. When I made Medicine, it was purely a breakup song. And then when I listened to my EP in order for the first time, Medicine just took on a whole new meaning for me. And it quickly became one of my favorite moments in the entire project because of just how seamless we go from family trauma from the first 4 songs to heartbreak. That seamless transition was just such like, I was like, oh my God, I didn't even realize that Medicine could still be about my brother or about a family member, you know? In Oceanside, it says, can we go back to being little kids? And in Medicine, it says, but we're just kids. Maybe it's too much for us to deal with. And also in Oceanside, it says, it starts with, we're broken. Same last name, but we're totally different. And in Medicine, it says, I think that I'm broken, but it's not your fault that I'm like this. So it's like they complement each other in that way to where it's like, is Makaio still singing about his brother or a heartbreak? And you can't tell, you know, maybe some people will say that's a bad thing, but to me, I just think it's so seamless and it makes the song universal. It makes it about a relationship or about a romantic relationship. You know, it can have many different meanings, and that's why Medicine to me quickly like became one of my favorites. This song was inspired by Gracie Abrams, so I wanted to keep it simple and very mellow, but kind of still build. I don't think this will be the most streamed song on the project, if I'm being totally honest. I do think that this will be the least, but it is a song that I'm one of the most proud of. I want to say it's my second favorite besides Oceanside. So the other fun thing about Medicine is its literal meaning of when we wrote our story, we didn't see the ending. Or no, when we wrote our story, we didn't write the ending, didn't see that one coming, now did we? Is a literal meaning because this is the first song about a breakup. So it kind of like transitions the story into romantic relationships now. Also in Medicine, the chorus goes, and I need you like if you were my medicine. That ties back into Older, when Older says, and when I start doing drugs, I can't help but to think of us. They tie in together in that aspect. Also the line that says, I think I grew jealous because I'm nothing like it in regards to being perfect. It's also a throwback to Older's feeling of insecurity. So there's another tie back to Older. And then another way that this song ties back to Older is in Older it says, but I don't feel anything at all. And then in Medicine's like kind of second verse, pre-chorus, maybe a bridge. I don't really know what this section is called. I don't really know what this I don't really know what this section is called, but I wanted it to build. It says, and I feel nothing. I think I've malfunctioned. Kind of still playing into the fact that I just feel so numb from pain and from everything that I had experienced before this in the EP, and realizing that I'm reliant on someone and that I'm desperate. I come to the realization later when I say, and I think you were right when you said I was desperate to be loved and wanted. So medicine goes on a journey of its own as well. So now we go on to, I think, the fan favorite of I've Never Been Much of a Liar.
I've never been much of a liar. I've never been much of a liar. But I think that I'm getting worse.
So besides Town, Father, and Stars, which were singles, I've Never Been Much of a Liar was the first song I wrote, and I wrote it in March of 2025, so it's been like a year, and I finally recorded it in September. The song went through a lot of lyric changes and a lot of production changes, and I finally got happy with one. As soon as I started posting it on Instagram and TikTok, just so many people loved it. I love I've Never Been Much of a Liar, but I honestly didn't expect it to be the favorite, but this is also before the EP's release. I don't know once everyone hears the full song if it will change, but I know most people are excited for I've Never Been Much of a Liar. I've Never Been Much of a Liar is about accountability and about change. It's about not really loving someone back, which if you've been there, you kind of know how awkward that is and how bad you feel. So that's what it's about. It's about lying to someone, whether it's intentional or unintentional. And there's also a get to know the song video on this one that goes a little bit more into depth. How does this fit into the EP? It's the second to the last song. As you know, on the previous 5 songs, they are confused. We're confused this entire journey. We have gone through heartbreak at this point, family trauma, depression, and, really bad thoughts and insecurities. Like, we've gone through a really dark phase. By the time we get to I've Never Been Much of a Liar, we realize that what we're doing to other people is hurting them. And we realize that because of everything that was mentioned before is why we're doing this. So it's all about taking accountability, but also embracing change. There's a huge change moment at the end of the song where it's like, I've never been much of a liar, but I guess that I change, people change. It's kind of like a huge moment. So really just embraces the change that we've been so afraid of for the past 5 songs. So that's how I've Never Been Much of a Liar fits. Now we move on to Stars.
He wants to be a star. Wants to be a star. Wants to be a star and make it far.
In a way, Stars is the title track because at the end of the song, it's a voice memo of what do you want to be when you're older? And it's I want to be a star because that's what Stars is about. It goes back into feeling insecure and not feeling good enough to be a star, being what you want to be. I want to be a musician and I want to be a star and I want to go on tour and sell merch and perform at award shows, maybe win an award someday, but also feeling like you're not good enough. And I feel like maybe that's a feeling that all artists go through, regardless if it's music. If you draw, if you make something, if you do this, do that, like every person goes through a moment of self-doubt. And that's what Stars is about. It's about really craving that level of recognition. I knew this had to come last because when I released this as a single, a professional told me that this shouldn't have been a single. He told me that this is either an opening or a closing track for an album, and I agreed. The moment I was thinking about doing an album, which we'll get into that later, I knew that Stars had to be at the end because it finally tells you what I want to be. It finally ends with what I want. This entire time, we've been on a confused journey of what I want and what I want to be and what I can be. Stars closes finally answering the question that we've been pondering this entire time of what do you want to be when you're older? What do you want to be in general? Who do you want to be? Well, I want to be a star. Okay, so overall about my EP, what do you want to be when you're older? The idea for this project came to me after I've never been much of a liar, I want to say. So it's a relatively newer idea. But the idea of me wanting to do an EP actually stems back from Town. So I had a planned EP called My Little Thoughts. It was supposed to be like 5 songs with What Am I Waiting For, Town, and Father. But I knew that I didn't want those songs to be on a project with only 5 songs. I wanted to showcase my new style with older Oceanside, I've Never Been Much of a Liar, and Medicine. And so I wanted to just keep the singles to a minimal. I wanted there to be more new songs rather than more released songs because I really want to show people my new way of doing things. And I want to show people that I can experiment and I can do something different. And that production wise, I think my newer songs sound so much better because I'm still learning. But at least with my new songs, they were co-produced by Vinicius Fina with additional help from Taxt and Penelope Red. I knew that I wanted to call it What Do You Want to Be When You're Older because I knew that these songs go on a journey because I was going on a journey writing them. I knew this was going to be a project about growth and about answering that question because I was going on a journey. I was growing thinking about what I wanted to be and who I want to be and everything that happened in my life and how it's affected me today. It is a long title, but so yeah, that is my in-depth explanation of my project. I really hope you like it, you relate to it in some way, and I hope you're doing okay. Don't forget my necklaces and all the new other merch on the merch store. Thank you so much for all your support. It genuinely means the world to me. I can't believe that I'm finally releasing a project. I feel like it's going to solidify the fact that I'm an artist and that I love to make music and I'm already working on new music. So there's more coming. But yeah, I'm just so excited to see what everyone thinks and how everyone reacts. So thank you so much. I love you all. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for listening to my EP. Just thank yous, and thank yous. So love you all. Bye-bye.